Welcome back to another video about n8n. Today I'm going to be going over my email AI agent demo. This is a simplified version of what could be potentially a massive agent that can manage your emails, take care of promotional, transactional, spam, cold outreach, and even the important ones as well. Right now I'll be walking through in a video that was pre-recorded that I actually did at a workshop that I was invited to, so you're going to see a little bit of those clips. But pay attention to the flow. This is a little bit more of a raw as I built it kind of video. Let me know if you like that style instead of more of these high overview videos. Sometimes it's nice to kind of see the in the weeds, the thinking, the processes, actually clicking into the nodes. So let me know in the comments if you like that style of it. And don't worry, I was doing some copy pasting of some of the things that were in this workflow whenever I was doing the production. But for you guys, I'll make sure to download this JSON and supply it for you in my school community. You'll be able to go copy and paste this URL, sorry, the title of the video, and paste it into the search bar of school, and there you can find the JSON files that you need to be able to follow along in this video if you're getting a little lost. But make sure you try to do as much of it on your own, because when you're actually the one doing it, rather than just taking the JSON and following along, you'll get the muscle memory of how to actually work with n8n, and that will make you a lot better and improve your skills, allowing you to actually know how to build one of these workflows on your own whenever you or a client, coworker, boss needs a workflow that is production ready. So without further ado, here is the video walkthrough. This is kind of one of the most simple use cases of n8n, one of the most common. This is an email agent node, or an email assistant workflow. Essentially what it does is it reads all your emails, and then it will go through and it will have a system prompt that will basically help categorize all of your emails into certain categories. You can see right here, we have important, promotional, transactional, cold outreach, and spam. Okay. So what Courier is doing is identifying those categories from the email and then setting a priority to them. So let's say it's an important message, or important meaning it came from like an actual human that's not a spammy human. And let's say they're just having a conversation with you, it would mark the priority as low. Or let's say this is a customer support agent and this is a real human and they're upset. It would be marked as important, but then it would also be marked as a high priority. And so we're going to walk through a little bit about how n8n works. So the first thing you're going to do is hit that tab button, and we're going to do a Gmail, hit enter, and then that trigger right there, on message received. Okay, so click on that. So pretty cool thing, you can actually set, you can filter things. So if you want to filter based off, you don't want to have it read everything, you can just filter based off of what you want. You can also put polling times if you want to only poll every 15 minutes, etc. But we'll have it set right there. So this is going to read all your emails. The next thing that we're going to do is, this is actually something I've had to learn the hard way a lot of times, is we're going to do an if node. Okay. The purpose of this is I'm just going to put filter out emails to self. This will make sense in just a second. But essentially what this workflow will do, it will have a human in the loop where it'll send you an email about the email, and then it'll just go into this perpetual cycle of sending an email about the email, about the email, about the email, about the email, and then it'll just never end. And so first thing you have to do is just make sure you filter out your own email. If that's the medium that right now we're using that as the medium of communication. If you're using like Slack or a text message, it won't be as big of a deal. But regardless, what you're going to want to do is paste in, you're going to do double curly braces and then $JSON.from. And just trust me on that, because actually here, this is what we'll actually do. Let me paste this in, grab this right here. I'm going to paste some JSON into the chat, copy and paste that. So copy that first from the Google chat here. Double click on this Gmail trigger. Come up to the right. There's this little pencil mark. Click on that. Select all and paste it in. So this, if you're working with n8n, this is the best way that you can debug and test without actually having to like get a live email coming through, set up the whole thing, publish it, etc. So once you do that, just hit save. So now you have a test set. Okay, so once you have that set, you can see that it is pinned. So now we can actually run this. So notice if you press this play button above it, it'll now have that test run loaded in, and then you can come over here and see that what I pasted was not anything crazy. You can also just come in here and then do this, click this from and drag it in, and you'll see who it's from. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say if it is not equal to, and then in this case, it doesn't really matter because none of your emails will be it. But the idea is you just want to put whatever email you're sending emails from. So like, for instance, I'm sending emails to myself from Tanner Goes Coded as a notification. And then that way you can click this execute, and then we're going to say, okay, cool. It is not the same. Okay. So now we have this true path activated. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is get this right there. There we go. So the next thing we're going to do is grab a courier node. So click this plug button, do courier, hit enter, click add to workflow, and now you're back into place. What this is going to have is I'm going to paste in the system prompt as well to our chat. This is going to be a system prompt that basically helps courier know how to digest what we're about to give it. So the system prompt, copy and paste what I just had, hit this expression button if you want to be able to have a bigger window and not be crammed in that little tiny screen, and then hit paste. So now it gives a little bit of instructions on how to classify them as promotional, scam, et cetera, et cetera. But the most important part now is you need to actually feed the prompt, and the prompt in this case is actually just going to be the, in this case, the snippet. So that snippet is actually just the content body. Okay. So whatever it is, this is just an example of one. So if it's body or whatever it is, just find the whatever is included from the actual human or the message, then you put in that. Okay. So as you go through, I need to select the model. Okay. Let's click execute this step so that we can keep going along and debugging as we move along. All right, sweet. So now that came through, the next thing we're gonna do is let's inspect it, and notice how it came back as it came back as like string JSON. That's gonna happen sometimes, honestly, with a lot of LLM responses. That happens. Not like it's gonna happen in any case. So what we're gonna do is, this is what's really powerful about n8n, is we have the ability to write code in our workflow. So we're gonna do a code node where code is JavaScript. And then we are going to paste this in to that prompt. So I just put in the chat, and you're just going to paste this in. So essentially what this is doing is it's saying, hey, take content, it's now as a string, and then just parse it as JSON. Okay. Okay. So like I was showing before, this is just a good practice in general when you're working with n8n. You're gonna have to do this all the time, transforming data, turning into how you want to be able to have it. Right now it's coming in as a string JSON, a stringified JSON. Notice how it looks different because now it's in a schema to where if you look at the JSON, it's actual JSON. Okay, so now that we have this, you can rename it to just be format. What you do is click on it and press press the space button, space bar, and you can rename the node just from here and put it as format. Sweet. Okay, so the next thing we got here, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create. So now that we have this category. What we're going to do is we're going to create a switch so that we can do a couple different things with this. We're going to switch. So go find that switch one, hit enter. And then there's going to be a lot of copy and pasting. So go ahead and grab this category, and it's going to be a value. And we're going to say is equal to, in this case, it's going to be important. And you can rename the output and put that as output as well. Hit add routing rule, and then just copy and paste this category down. And then change this one to, let's see here, promotional. And just real quick to show you what it looks like if you don't rename it. It's like important or it's number one. So go ahead and rename it so that whenever you're on the canvas, it just makes sense to you. So rename it, copy and paste again. And we're gonna do that a couple more times. We're gonna grab this one. Just gonna add a couple. I think we need like 5. So we have 5 there. And for these, we're gonna do, this one's gonna be transactional right here. Transactional. This one's gonna be cold outreach. And this last one's going to be spam. Now, obviously, notice this obviously goes without saying, but this all can be hyper customized to whatever use case is, for whatever your client wants, whatever you want. The only thing, the lever you got to pull is your system prompt within here, telling you what's gonna output, and then having the filters come out here. Okay. Okay, so now that we have that, we're gonna hit this run button, and we're gonna notice that this important is now populated. Okay, notice how that it filtered it properly to hit that important node, and we're gonna go a little bit deeper into that one first. Actually, first let's do the promotional one and the spam, because there's a lot you can do with these. But in this case, what I want to do, this is actually something that I've been wanting to build myself, and I hate whenever I have promotional crap that comes in, and I always have to go through and swipe it out, especially with my wife's. I have to always swipe hers and swipe hers and swipe hers, and then I hate having those 140 on my messages and they're not important. So what I do is I come over here and I do a Gmail. I do mark as read, and then you can come over here to the left panel, Gmail trigger, grab this ID, put it in there, and now what it's going to do is it will mark that message as read for you. And then I'm just going to do the same thing for transactional and cold outreach, because I don't care about those right now, and we'll just mark them as cold outreach as read. And then for spam, I'm going to showcase another cool thing. Go back to Gmail. hit enter, delete. I'm just going to straight up delete the message because I don't want to deal with spam. Do the same thing, grab that ID, paste it in, and you're now good to go. Make sure you keep hitting save. n8n version 2, in their January release, they're going to have an autosave feature. So for now, make sure you keep hitting that save button. If you try exiting it, it will prompt you to save, but for whatever reason, just make sure you always save. Okay, so now that we have those scenarios taken care of, we're going to go a little deeper on the important. So the first thing we're going to do is notice how the JSON has the category. We now filter on the category. The next thing we're going to do is filter on priority. And let's say for this instance, we only want this AI touching high priorities so that we get pinged immediately. So do the same thing, dragging that priority is equal to high, hit execute, and you can see that does come through as true. Obviously, if you make this be medium, it's going to go as that false branch. Okay. So we're going to do high, hit execute. We're now in that true. We're now in that true pipeline. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a courier node again, hit that add to workflow. And what this one's going to do is the prompt is, and let me paste this one in for you guys. This is going to be the system prompts. Very generic. I'm literally just asking it, hey, draft an email response to this message with the context given. Make sure you hit this as expression. Actually, I'm just kidding. That didn't matter. But I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong place. This needs to be in the system prompt. That's why. There you go. Put that in your system prompt. It's just saying, hey, draft an email response and then use the schema response string, concise, non-AI sounding email copy relevant to the message. Okay, so you can make that as detailed as you want, obviously, but not in this case. And then the next thing we're going to grab is for the actual prompt is one of the previous courier nodes just created a 1-sentence summary. I'm just going to use that for now. You can make it as robust as you want. You can give as much context as you want. For now, I'm just going to literally give it that 1-sentence summary as the context to draft up an email. Make sure you select your model and let's say execute. Okay, so once again, now that we have that string, come over here and just grab this format. Hey, the wonderful thing about n8n, again, I'm not a plug for n8n, but I am all about n8n, is it's all JSON based. You literally just Control-C or Command-C, paste it, and then it's just literally a replica, hook it up. And then since we use this JSON, so since it's this dynamic, it's called, you do like the input first JSON content, it'll work right out of the box. Boom. Got it, confirmation. That's now our response. Okay, so once we have that second format, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a set field. And then we're going to drag in this response right here. And it's going to say it's going to create a variable response, and it's going to give the actual response as the value. Okay. The very next thing, so hit run on that. The very next thing you're going to do is click this plus button, go for a Gmail node, and then do send and wait for response. So you guys may not have your Gmail set up. I actually need to make a video because it sometimes can be a little bit complex on setting up your Gmail account, especially you have to like create an OAuth system, an OAuth app on Gmail, and it's sometimes a little bit cumbersome. So just follow along on this part specifically, and I'll show you it working in real time. But what you're going to do is you're going to create your credential, and you're going to have to send and wait for a response. I want to put this as your email, and in subject, we're just going to say, what do I say over here? Let's just say this one is attention needed. Okay, so we can put this wherever you want it to be. We're just going to do attention needed. The message is going to be, I'm going to paste this into the chat. So that's going to be your message for your email. It's all HTML supported. So notice how it's really slick because you can dynamically put this, hey, I just got an email from blank. Here's a summary of the email, blank. It's been categorized as a blank email. I've drafted a response. What do you think? And then it literally will put. Okay, so now that we have that set up, the response, this is going to be important whenever we loop, because what this is going to be, it's going to be an endless feedback loop until we give a response that we're happy with. So what you do is, there's a lot of really cool things you can do with send and wait. What this one's going to be is you're going to click on this approval, go to custom form. And yeah, anyways, and it ends so powerful. So what you do is add a form element, and we're going to name this. We're just going to simple question. Hey, needs edits, and then you're going to come over here and do radio button. Default value is going to be no. Radio button is going to be yes. Add a radio button is no. Required field is yes. Add another form element. If yes, please specify. And I will paste this in the chat actually because it needs to be that exact thing for the rest of my stuff that you'll be using to work out. Actually, that actually doesn't matter. But anyways, yeah, never mind. Keep going. So this is going to be text. So if yes, please specify the edits you'd like to make. So this now allows them to just be able to put whatever they want. And then the last thing will be is add form element. Do you want me to respond directly or just write a draft? And then we're going to do that same thing. We're going to do radio buttons. I'm going to say draft. And we're going to say draft, hit add radio button, we're going to do respond. So, and then we're going to make this required. So what that's going to do is you'll see later on in the workflow, it'll give the option. If they say draft, it'll create a draft for that email. If they say send, it'll just outright send a response. So you get to determine what that looks like. So let me show you what this looks like. So I'm going to click this button. It's really cool because it'll send it and it'll show that it exported, like happened, but look how it's still like slowly loading. I just got an email right now saying, hey, I got the email. I'm going to click on this, and then it'll be a button. Let's see, actually the whole screen. I didn't. You click, you'll see a button. You'll click respond, and it'll pull up this window. And then we'll pay Tanner. I just got an email from Tanner Widgeon. Here's a summary of the email. It's been categorized as this. I got the response. What do you think? Got it. I'm going to say yes. Make it more, verbose. We'll say verbose just for whatever reason. And we'll hit submit. We come back over here. We just got an item. So it just look how it stopped spinning. So now it's saying, okay, cool. We got a response. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do an if node on whether or not they need edits. Okay. So if need edits is equal to yes. And we'll come up here to the top left. If needs edits, question mark. So if need edits is yes. If there's a yes, we're going to go back to our good old reliable courier. And we are going to paste in, this is the prompt. This is the prompt, not the system prompts. And then this is the system prompt. Again, these are very generic. I literally whip this up just because, just a quick way to kind of demo it. So once we have all that, let's see, why is it up? Just delete that. If it turns red, then just make sure you delete that one that was right there, and you should be good. Okay, so make sure that's the right one. Okay, so now what's doing is it says, hey, does it need edits? Yes, it does need edits. Per your LLM, it's going to say, hey, take this response and the edits the user would like to make and may imply the edits. And we're going to hit execute step. So grab this and go back into your send and wait response and do the same thing, pencil, paste it in, and then you'll be able to start seeing this data. You'll be able to click this play button and then play button on the n8n or on the if node, and then the play button on this courier. Okay, we are almost done, like 2 more steps. So so notice how now that we have this courier, look how it said, okay, certainly here's a more robust polished version. Got it. Thank you for confirmation. What we'll probably need to do is actually specify the schema. I'm not gonna do that right now just because for sake of time. But what you need to do is you need to say, hey, actually make it be more like this JSON, which was like over here. Use this. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Just go over there to your use the schema. Come back over here. Paste that in. Try rerunning it. Beautiful. All right, now we got our response. Let's grab our nifty format code, put it right there, hit play. All right, now we have our JSON. So like I was saying, the whole point of this is supposed to loop though. And so the question is, okay, well, how do I get this new response back up to here to then be able to re-enter the weights? So notice how this one right here, the response is JSON.response. So this is some things that you gotta start thinking of whenever you're doing some more production level n8n stuff is how am I gonna get the data from there over? The quick solution is actually just to create a data table, store it as a variable, and you can just call it whenever you want. But if you're using traditional n8n methods, what you would do is, since this is just any JSON that comes in, we have to make sure that this is expecting a response. And we are having a response because this is outputting a response. So all we do is we make, we literally just pull this over here. Because this output is JSON response, and this is expecting a JSON response. And so then it will literally enter back into the loop. And it will enter the loop until we say, no, it does not need edits. Okay. And then I'll just keep going. You can play around with this. The next thing we're gonna do is, so if they don't need edits, then we'll do one final if route. And we'll say right here, Dragon, do you want me to respond to this with a draft is equal to draft and execute. Oh crap. It's gonna be going through this whole process right here. So we're gonna stop that. And we're gonna stop that right there. So and just believe me, it will work. So what you'll do here is if it is equal to draft, then you come up to this top part, hit true, grab a Gmail node, draft. So it'll be create draft. And then what you'll do is you'll go back to this trigger node and you'll go grab the subject and put it right there. So to reply to an existing thread, specify the exact subject line of that thread. Boom. And then you come back over to this if, and you're not going to see it there because we didn't execute it, but you'll paste in this right here, which I'll send right here. Basically saying, hey, what was the final response from those LLMs? And that's how that will create a draft. And then we come over here, do a plus sign, Gmail, send a message. If we want to just, oh, sorry, wrong one. Delete that. Come back over here, email, reply to a message, hit enter. And when you reply to a message, you need a thread ID, which then you come back over here to Gmail trigger, grab the ID, put it in there. Oop, wrong place. Put it in here. And then do the same thing that we did over here. Grab this response, put in this message. And you've now just created your first AI agent. All right, there you have it. This is the email AI agent demo. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Again, what I love about n8n is we can talk about all these principles, these, the building blocks of what makes n8n so powerful. And then you can go customize it to however you want. You notice that we didn't actually go through the promotional transactional cold outreach flows. We didn't even do spam at all, really, because those may have taken a little bit longer to be able to actually process what's being pulled in, save it off to a database, do a little bit more than deleting. And so this is where you can take this template and actually make it your own. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel to see more about n8n, AI, and workflow automation. Catch you next.